Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Melissa, and today's video is another alocasia video. I have more alocasia I want to take care of, and we are going to be doing some in pond, and I have some that are in soil that I want to kind of temporary do in most likely water, and then I'll have to transfer those to pond a different day. I was actually just checking my cabinet and I saw more spider mites popping up. I'm not too happy about that. I spent like a good hour in there, hour and a half last week cleaning it out, hosing my plants off, and then I had ordered predatory mites and put them all in my cabinet, and none of them have hatched. I haven't seen any mites at all from those sachets. So I think the spider mites that were left in there are kind of repopulating now. So yeah, I think in the meantime, I'm going to just go ahead and take care of some alocasia that are in there. Some of them do have spider mites, so I'm like trying to hose them off at the same time. I actually just now realized I don't know how many of those small containers that I have, so I probably can't do more than a couple today that are actually moving to pond. So we'll see. I need to check my supplies first. I have plenty of pond. I just don't know if I have enough containers. So I will grab everything I need and I'll be right back. We're probably going to be moving around this entire video. I want to show you the first plant that we're working with. And I did this a long time ago. I have like corms popping up in there and everything. I even have one Amazonica that's stuffed in there. But this is my Maharani. This is all the Maharani that I have left. Interesting enough, the little Amazonica is covered in spider mites. I rinsed it already, but I'm gonna take this corm out and just rinse these off really good in the sink with water, Castile soap, and the stratum to pond transfer very well. Any new corms that I have, I'll just like reharvest those. I'll probably end up having a ton of corms from all the props because they've been in here for so long. Look at that root system. And there's even a ton more roots. You just can't see them all because it's so dark. I've always loved the Maharani. I love the texture and everything. I'm sad my bigger one didn't make it, unfortunately. I do reuse my stratum. As long as it's not super mushy, I'll save what I can. We're gonna pot up this Maharani, this one, and this one. So we have 3 Maharanis to start a new plant over with. And I just made sure to rinse the root system pretty good of the stratum. So all that is just like healthy stratum roots. And these self-watering planters aren't from Lechuza, they're just a brand off Amazon. They're like a 5.5 inch, it has a reader, and then this is just the reservoir, and yeah, I like using these to start out with. I feel like there's plenty of room in here for roots to get them started. So I just kind of scoop a little bit to begin with in here. Kind of like that. I find it easier not to rinse it, but that's just my preference. I usually water through a couple times initially and before I put water in the reservoir to get rid of some of that dust. I mean, it's a little dusty, but I don't find it to be like overly dusty. That one has a pretty good root system. We're just gonna kind of plop these all around in the center usually. It doesn't really matter where you put them, just as long as you get the roots covered. So kind of like that down in there. It looks so cute. I love baby alocasia leaves. So Maharani, it's all done. I just have to water this. And all I do to water these like the first time through. Now remember, Lechuza comes with slow release fertilizer, so you don't have to add anything for 6 months. That's a long time. So because it is dusty, the first water that I do, I just kind of water through the top and let that dirty water drain into a bin, because you're going to be dumping this outside. You don't want to dump this down your drain because all that sediment can clog your drains. Just kind of watering it through. And then just adding a little water to the reservoir. Since I've never had trouble with stratum transfers, I keep water in the reservoir and it will continue to wick it up. I don't add like a ton of water right away. Like you can see, it's more on the min side, kind of like halfway. And so that's all I do. So that should take a little bit before this plant starts using up all this water. And that's kind of how dirty the water is first go around. So this one is all done. I just have to keep an eye and make sure that there's no spider mites, since I found spider mites. This is the next one. I don't even know what happened with this thing. Can you see how long I've been neglecting it? Look at all the corms popping out. It's extremely rooted in here. I had no desire to even save these corms for me, but I'm glad I did, because the regular Sinuata, I find this one is like the heterophylla that I did that completely like mushed away. That one is just, that one completely died, and it was a soil to pond transfer. So I replanted the corms that I did have in my cabinet into it, and so those ones are doing fine. I feel like this one mushes easily, like the stems, if they take up water too quickly, it does like the same thing. So I don't know. I'm going to replant. I think I have 1 leaf in here, 2, 3. I think I have like 4 corms, and then any new ones that are popping off, I'll just do at the end. I did that on 4/6. Do you see the date? That was April. Oh my gosh, these have been in here since April. Clearly neglected that. Ah! One is just like barely forming a leaf, but I have 5 in here. And I kind of made sure to clean them too, like any of the brown, like mushy, gunky stuff. I tried to get it off the corms and everything. So we still have quite a lot of roots. I think it'll do okay, even though I broke some off. It was just very tangled because I left it in there for so long. This one kind of reminds me, I guess it's similar to the Quilted Dreams, or I think this one is called the Quilted Dreams, and then like the Sinuata is the known name, maybe. I think that's what it is. So again, I have 5 little baby corms. And I'm glad again I took these corms, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't have a plant right now. So it's always good to have a backup of your alocasia plant with corms. Just means you have a ton more a ton more plants to look after. But if you like alocasia, it's not a bad idea. So same thing, I have 1 more of these pots. I have 1 more left. I had 3 left from when I had ordered more last time. Kind of plucking them all down together. When I do these, I'm trying to make sure to fill a good way with pond so that the roots aren't tempted to grow out of the reservoir on the bottom so quickly. I'm out of water in my cup, so I'm just putting a little bit in there. I try to get in the habit of actually lifting them up when I water every week. Sometimes I top them off twice a week. It depends on the plant. If it's using up water more quickly, like if it was at the max and it's down to the min, I'll top it off a little bit if it's like Thursday or Friday, and then Sunday is when the weekend is usually when I water majority of my plants. But I try and get in the habit of actually lifting it up and then peeking at the water. If it's super dirty, usually the first month or so, it gets pretty dirty from like the dust and everything from the pond. So usually I would say every 3 waterings, maybe every 3 weeks. It depends. It depends on like my mood and how quickly I'm trying to water. But I will actually like dump any excess out in here and clean this and rinse it. And then I will flush the pond. I just take water and then just flush it and let it drain into a container like this. Because if you're using tap water, the excess salts and minerals can build up over time. So you want to make sure you're flushing all that through so that it's not building up. So yeah, that one is all done. I think the next one I'm gonna go grab is my Azlanii. Here is the Azlanii. And my Azlanii I did get at the big box store. And I had like This isn't the original Azlanii, that one's long gone. This is all corms that I had potted up into my like chunky mix, and this was like before I even was thinking about pon, and it's doing okay. It's given me 2 new leaves recently. This is a new leaf and this is a new leaf, so really the plant is only like that. It's actually yellowed off a couple leaves, and this one has some like yellow tint to it. I don't know if that's gonna pick up or not. This is one that had a fungal infection really bad and it spread very quickly. This plant just went downhill super fast. And these were 3 corms that I salvaged, and yeah, it's in soil. It's been in soil for a little while now, and I've had it in my Ikea cabinet. This one did have some spider mites on it, so I'm gonna have to rinse the leaves really good. I think it's a cool alocasia. I think it's just a very, very finicky, and I think it would definitely prefer pon, but I don't want to go straight to pon like I was saying. So what I'm going to do is just put this one in water, let it grow some water roots and see what happens. If it gets angry in water, then oh well. We'll salvage what we can. Maybe we can find a couple more corms. If anything, we can grow it back again. But yeah, I'll leave it in water for at least a week or 10 days, and then we'll be potting it up. I have like a little bin down here that I'm kind of doing this over. I'm already pulling off some corms. I have like four corms already. So this is kind of the root system that we're working with. Got rid of most of the soil, so I'm going to rinse this one underwater and get rid of all the soil. All right, this one was super easy. I just have it in water. I'm just gonna let it root in water for a little bit, and then I'll put it into pon. I think this will be a smoother transition to pon. And then I can keep an eye on spider mites too. So there is that one. These are all the corms that I salvaged, and I don't know like which ones are which, so I'm just gonna put them all together. And I have this little glass vessel. I got this as a set on Amazon. I found one at TJ Maxx when I was there, and I love it. I just think it's the cutest little propagation vessel. So I'm gonna fill this up with the stratum. This is all the like wet used stratum. So I'm gonna use like this and add just a tiny bit of fresh in here. Use my little shovel. But do you see the used stratum? It breaks down and it like basically turns into a mud. But I still reuse what I can just to save on it. The top of the corm is always where the growth point comes out of, right there. And the bottom is what was connected to the plant. Sometimes they have like a longer end, but I usually tear those off. So I just kind of take that bottom side down and just stick it down in the stratum. This container is kind of small for all these, but I'm just gonna stick them all down in here. I'm gonna add just a little bit more water. And that's what that's looking like, and then we're just gonna cover that up like that. It's so cute. I think the last little alocasia project I'm gonna do for this video, I do have to do my bigger Cuprea and Regal Shield. I need to put them in water, but I don't think I have like any glass vases for those to hold them that are like big enough. I just need some bigger vases, and I don't know where all mine went. I have plenty of cups, and a lot of them are still housing my Monstera elbow prop, so that's probably why. But the two that I have here, so I have these Alocasia Cuprea corms along with this one that's in soil. This is in stratum. There was a ton of spider mites on this one again. This leaf is just covered in pixie dust. And there was some on the tiny corms as well. These little leaves are so cute, the tiny little Cupreas. How stinking cute are those? So I think my plan was to put all my Cupreas together in one big pond pot. So I think I'm gonna rinse the one in stratum and just move this to water temporarily along with this one, just stick them in both in water to get rid of the spider mite infested soil. Since my mites aren't working, they're not hatching. And same situation, I just saw actually some spider mites on this one that I didn't see, I missed. Can you see the infested spider mites on that leaf? Right there, you see them? Active little spider mites. It's like right at the center vein. I have 3 dragon scale corms, and then I have this plant of dragon scale. They just recently gave me some bigger leaves like this one and this one, spider mite started to attack. I already have a dragon scale in pond. Well, these are just extra corms that I wasn't planning on keeping. So I'm gonna clean this really good with spider mites and just stick these, I think, both in water until I figure out what to do with them. I really wasn't planning on keeping all these corms, but I may eventually, like my dragon scale, I was thinking about upsizing it to a bigger one with these ones and doing like a bigger one of my dragon scale and Cuprea. So I might do that, just stick all the corms in one pot. But before I do that, again, I want these like soil roots to be used to water first, and then I'll like repot them together. Look at this beautiful bouquet of alocasias. They look really cute together. All right, so we have lots of smaller corms and bigger corms, so we're literally just going to stuff them down in water. They look so cute together. I really like them in water. And then here's the Cuprea here. And we have this one too in water, or Azlanii, that we need to keep an eye on. And since these ones were in my cabinet, they're not gonna fit until I clean it. So yeah, I might be just leaving these all out until I can figure out what to do with them. So I will link this video in my pond playlist. I have like an ongoing playlist of pond videos that I've done, like pond transfers. And I'm definitely gonna have more pond videos coming up because I wanna do some other plants in pond, and I'll have like various props like philodendron and these alocasia to do in some time here. So I'll definitely be making more pond videos. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little kind of pond alocasia session. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'm gonna go clean my Ikea cabinet now and rearrange in there. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and I will talk to you guys soon.